stood below Jesus on the cross. He peered down, blood dripping, tear dropping, and he cried. You're a lost little man, lost, lost. Join the cross, come up here with me. So I died and I died, held his bloody feet. Soldier's spear pierced us both. We flew from Judah, came to Buddha. And if you take care of all others, then you find you're up and up. Magic name will fill you too. A mystery for me and you. Jesus and the Buddha. Jesus and the Buddha. Buddha quoted Blackfoot tribe, who once said, life is not separate from death. It only looks that way. We're both always alive and dead. Dreams are how we talk to both sides of the fence. Life is not separate from death. Only looks that way. We're always both two instead. And if you take care of all others, then you find you're up and up. Magic name will fill you too. Mystery for me and you. Jesus and the Buddha. Jesus and the Buddha. If you take care of all others, then you'll find you up and do. Magically will fill you too. A mystery for me and you. If you take care of all others, then you will find you up and do. Magically will fill you too. A mystery for me and you. Jesus and the Buddha. Jesus and the Buddha. Jesus and the Buddha. Jesus and the Buddha.
Well, there you go. Jesus. Oh, there you go. Jesus, the Buddha. Jim Walsh here in the Wapahani Studios, and we're welcoming to the studio two gentlemen. The fellow that you heard singing there is Don Whitaker, and we also have Ward Kelly, the writer of the lyrics of the poem. And gentlemen, welcome to the Wapahani Studio. Glad you could make it. Ward, tell us a little about your involvement with the music, and Don, you're going to be performing some live during the next hour, so we're happy that you came in. Jump in there, Ward, and tell us about your background and how you and Don got together Don being from Greencastle, originally from Terre Haute.
Yes, sir.
And Ward, you're located where locally now?
In Greencastle.
But you got that accent, so you're not Hoosier native, are you?
From Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
You detected that. Anyway, Jim, well, we're honored that you had us. A little background on me is that for the past 40 years, I've been publishing serious poetry. And I would say I'm the most minor of poets, but I did manage to publish 1,100 poems.
Wow, 1,100
in the past 40 years. Mm-hmm. And with my work with poetry, I came to realize that poems will reveal themselves upon repeated readings. And where it's only the most serious poetry reader reads a poem more than a few times. Mm-hmm. I did discover or come to realize that the more you read the poems, the more your subconscious goes to work at them, and you find more meanings.
And while you're doing these writings of these poems, you're not necessarily thinking at that point of them being set to music yet.
Oh, no, not at all.
Yeah.
In fact, I just came to that about a year ago when I thought if poems reveal themselves on repeated readings, maybe the best way to achieve that is to turn them into music so that it's a lot more palatable to the reader or the ear is to hear the lyrics in conjunction with a song or a tune. So that led me to getting together with Don, who has been just brilliant in my viewpoint in interpreting these poems.
How did you first make the connection?
I actually advertised in the newspaper.
Okay.
And I always say Don answered a classified that he never read. One of his neighbors or relatives called him up and said, "Hey, there's a guy in Greencastle who's wanting to pay money for somebody to turn this into music." So
okay.
Don showed up at my door,
and the next thing you know, he came in with his guitar and.
Yep, and we took off from there.
Okay.
Actually, the first one we did was called Gnarled Bones, which is also the name of the album.
Now, is this album available to the public?
Well, it is, and if you Google Don Whitaker Gnarled Bones, several sites will come up. He's on Reverb Nation, and they're free downloads. You can download the album for free or any of the songs for free.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, we've got them on iTunes as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're free, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nice. That's Don Whitaker. Gnarledbones.com.
Well, if you Google Don Whitaker Gnarled Bones, several sites will come up.
Oh, okay.
So he is on ReverbNation.com. So if you go there and put in Don Whitaker, the Gnarled Bones album will come up.
Okay. And Don, let's talk about you. But first of all, why don't you play a song for us again? Now, the first one we heard obviously was from a recording, but you're live in the studio here, so that's the advantage of this in-studio radio show.
Sure.
So let's. What song are you going to feature?
Well, this first number is actually our debut single, which is entitled "Gnarled Bones."
Oh, okay.
And we actually made a video. This was our first video as well. But anyhow, bear with me. And like I said, this is just an acoustic version, so there's no sparkly lights, I guess, if you will. But we'll see what we can do for you.
Sure.
Have no memory of the greatest loving of my existence.
each I carry like narrow bones. All these bones I heft through this strange life, dragging myself through this long process, yearning, trying my damnedest to create a pure peace my tones. Know you're out there somewhere, why I see. Oh, I'm ever searching, oh, I believe I'll never stop searching. Be a better man for the journey, just a good man for the journey. Some call me crazy, living with no bones, bones in my music. Bones in the very eyes of my exuberance. Why, oh, why do they appear? When my will would grind them down like thermal stones, then her spirit ends. Deja vu lies, something I cannot grasp. She's just a veneer. Know you're out there somewhere, oh, I see. Find you anywhere, oh, I believe I'll never stop searching. Be a better man for the journey, just a good man for the journey. Know you're out there somewhere, oh, I see. I'll never stop searching. Be a better man for the journey, just a good man for the journey.
Yeah. Jim Walsh here in the Wapahani Studios and here at WITT, welcoming Don Whitaker on guitar and vocals. And Don, you have a very pleasant and a very full voice. Did you tell us a little bit about your background in music, how you got involved and all that good stuff?
Well, that actually started out at a very, very young age. I remember being about 6 years old and telling my mother that I wanted a guitar for Christmas. And of course, I knew nothing about guitar. And
it sounded like a good idea at the time.
It did sound like a good idea, and I'm glad that
better than an Etch-a-Sketch, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyhow, she did buy me a pretty nice guitar, and I figured to play one chord. and I played that chord until I was blue in the face. And of course, being that young and that inexperienced, I had no knowledge of anything else. So when I got stuck in a roadblock, I just turned the guitar around and used it for a dartboard.
Ah.
So needless to say, that led me on down the road of the music path, you know. And as years passed, I obviously learned to play more and more and more, and actually created my first band when I was 13. Now, we didn't play really anywhere, just school functions, that sort of thing.
And you're still staying at that point with acoustic guitar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Of course, I was in the junior high and high school bands as well. You know, playing,
in Terre Haute?
No, this was actually in Mooresville.
Okay.
I was living with my father at the time.
Okay.
But in any case, as time progressed, my aunt and uncle had a band named Morning Star.
Okay.
And my uncle was also one of the brass players in that band, and me being pretty advanced in my class, he let me join the band. And as it progressed on, he realized that I like to play guitar as well. So I got to start doing some performances and whatnot with them. Now, we did a whole lot of the hotel circuits.
Sure.
Sheratons, that sort of thing.
Okay.
All over the United States.
And we is you and who then?
This was my aunt and uncle.
Oh, you were performing with your aunt and uncle in this band.
Very,
what was it called?
Young, very young age.
What was the name of the band?
That was called Morning Star.
Morning Star.
Now, I don't believe that they're much in existence anymore. I know they've got a place down in Florida or something.
Yeah.
But
what kind of music? Were you doing original music there?
Now, no, that was more cover songs.
Okay. Mostly kind of country or folk or Americana?
It was we were a show band. So
Okay.
we did a lot of everything: rock, blues, country.
Okay.
And of course we.
So you were getting exposed to a lot of different genre music.
Yes, I was,
Yeah.
and I was very fortunate that my aunt was actually a retired pianist, a teacher.
Okay.
So she of course she didn't really teach me how to play piano per se, but she did let me know the ropes as far as the music business and performances and how to project yourself, that sort of thing.
Now, do you do other instruments besides the guitar? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do several.
Okay.
A whole lot.
Mostly
from
string?
drums to guitar to trumpet to sax,
wow.
piano.
Okay.
Yeah, I do quite a bit.
Didn't bring your trumpet in, did you?
No.
Another time, maybe.
Well, hopefully so. But anyhow, like I said, as time progressed, I realized that I really had a knack for this, and I thought, well, why not see where this takes me?
Sure.
Know? And it's led me down a road that I don't think a whole lot of people get to travel. You know, and by that I mean that, you know, a lot of folks, as far as the listeners are concerned, you know, I believe that they wish they could play or sing as well when they hear a performer
Sure.
do a number of some sorts. But that allows me to give them something that they wish they could do or have as well, you know, and make them, you know, enjoy their evening or their day, or, you know, try to help them with whatever may be going on, you know, during their day.
So you've been playing around the Midwest then?
Yeah. I've played everywhere from Michigan to Texas to Florida to East Coast.
And your new band is called Street Legal?
Yeah, I'm in a band out of Crawfordsville.
Okay.
Known as Street Legal. Now we do just about everything, you know, like I said, rock and country. Now I do some original stuff with them as well. And we're basically just getting off the ground. We stayed in the studio for almost 2 years before we decided to go out anywhere, because, well, we knew we had something really special, because we do like a 4-part harmony.
Oh wow! Okay.
So yeah, we're exceptionally gifted, I guess you could say, and I'm very fortunate that I'm surrounded by that caliber of performers.
Let's if we could hear another live song from you, and then we can talk about how you connected with Ward.
Okay.
Ward Kelly.
Okay.
What do you got in mind for picking and grinning here?
Well, I grin quite a bit.
Well, yeah, it's a good grin. Too bad we can't see it on the radio here. But just take my word for it, folks. He's got a nice grin, a little dimple there. So there's something, whatever that's called.
I've always been told I've got a face for radio, so if that helps.
Oh, we're all in that boat, yeah.
Well, this next number is also one of Ward's poems as well, and I had I'll give you a quick background on it. I had a riff in my head that I'd been playing for a couple of years, and I just couldn't seem to fit the right lyrics to it. And I was just horsing around one day in our studio, and he said, well, what's that? So I told him, and the rest is history.
Okay.
And so here it is. It's called I Need the Beauty of You.
All right. Don Whitaker here. WITT.
Can't believe I spend every second with you. Doing this for you, Mona Lisa. I need your presence. You always laugh away my time. I see me too. Like two couplets in rhyme, two of us make sense. Need beauty, till we laughing at us, sound of your divine sighs, oh, so up there just dies. You're where my soul always lies. Need the beauty of you. Always there by my side, better part of my soul. Beside you, I'm inside the truest core of my being. As the women are forced in men of my peace, pay their toll. You're the blade that sliced my edges away, so unfree. Need the beauty of you, eternally laughing eyes, sound of your divine sighs, oh, so brought there to die. You're in my soul always lies. I need the beauty of you.
Interesting title. I Need the Beauty of You. And,
Yeah, that's the short version anyway.
well, it's okay. We got the idea there. And that was written by Ward. Ward, you've been involved. You guys sort of met in 2015, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
In fact, we were talking driving over here that we've been doing this for about 10 months now.
Okay, so that's fairly new. Obviously, it's working out well for you.
Oh yeah. I think we've come a tremendous amount of distance in a very, very short time.
Yeah.
Like I said, simply because I've been in this business for so long, I've got a pretty good idea of how it works.
And you recognized with Ward the lyrics. I mean, his poetry for many years. And so you've got this backlog of.
Oh yeah. And there again, like I said, I've always written my own thing and covered a lot of songs, and then when I was asked to do this sort of thing, boy, it really, really stretched me. I never imagined myself putting music to poetry. So I thought,
well, just like Ward never thought about
exactly.
putting his poetry to music. Yeah.
I think we're tailor-made for each other, really, as far as this is concerned. And,
now, Ward, you have you brought another track in here on a CD, and the song is called Daughters.
Yes, that's right, Jim.
Now this one, we're going to play the recording of that, right?
Yep, great.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, Don and I previously were working on our second album now, and previous to the Daughters song, we did a song called "The Gypsy's Daughter Enters the Third Reich," and it's a song about the Holocaust, where what's often forgotten in the Holocaust is that over 200,000 gypsies also lost their life during the Holocaust. And that was a song about a father and his 9-year-old daughter who became ensnared in one of the camps and ended up being executed. And that was a hard song for both Don and I to do. We have 8 daughters between the two of us.
Oh my, yeah.
So it upset us.
Yeah.
But
you wrote that.
I did write that. It was about 20 years ago. It was a poem that ended up being nominated for the Pushcart Award.
Huh.
Now, unfortunately, I didn't win it, but that poem has always stayed with me, and it's one of the most reprinted pieces of my work.
Wow.
So, but anyway, after we did that, we decided we needed to do a song where the daughter is saved.
Oh,
so
okay.
With the 8 daughters we have, if you have adult children, sometime in your life you're going to get that 1 a.m. call from your adult children where they got themselves in trouble and they need dad to come and get them. And that's what this song is about. Don gets that call and he goes out and jumps in his truck and has time to think about the value of that relationship, the dad and the daughter.
I've not heard the recording. Don, is it you solo on this?
I thought we had a recording of this.
Yeah, we do.
Well, we're going to play the recording of it.
Right,
but on the recording, is this a solo recording of you, or did you perform with Silver or Street Legal?
Oh no, I've not performed any of these numbers with the band.
Oh, okay.
This is all me, and we basically just layered everything.
Okay.
But on the song Daughters, we do have Jessie Doyle, who I think you featured on the program before. She's doing the backup on Daughters.
Let's give it a listen then.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about that. When I got your call in the early morning,
Heard you fearful more. Tell me warning. My girl needs me. Wrestled my clothes on. Ran out to my truck. Love always goes on, facing all bad luck. My girl needs me. In the door, driving sure, love's train more, no question more. My girl needs me. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming. Hang on, Daddy's coming. When she slept, I always caught her. All those little things she treasured. I always bought her. Don't tell anyone. There's nothing better than a daughter. Don't tell anyone. There's nothing better than a daughter. Come, sweetie,
It'll be okay.
hold on, hold on. You can cry.
It'll be okay.
On my chest.
It'll be okay.
I'm coming, baby.
It'll be okay.
You can cry. On my chest.
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Interesting song. It's called Daughters. Written by Ward Kelly, is in the studio with us here at the Wapahani studio. Jim Walsh here, your host, along with the musician Don Whitaker, whose background includes lots of years of playing guitar and other things like the trumpet you were saying.
Oh yeah. I like to stay in it. Music is my life.
So you got guitar, trumpet, piano.
Trumpet, piano, bass guitar, drums, a lot of the woodwinds, you name it, just harmonica,
Okay.
just basically anything that makes a noise, I can make it sing.
Okay. That'd be a good on your business card there.
Yeah,
You
there
can make
you
a
go.
noise, I can make it sing. Ward, tell us, now that song was also featured Jesse Doyle, beautiful voice of Jesse, who's now living out in Virginia. And Jesse, of course, has been in the Wapahani studio here for in studio hour with me and our listeners. And it is so good to hear her too. Tell us a little about your poetry, how it, tell us about the life of your poems, the reason for them, what inspires you.
Well, I'd have to say, Jim, it's a compulsion that you don't pick poetry picks you.
Oh, okay.
And I use the what I call the don't think method of writing. And that is that there's an old saying that you have to write 1,000,000 words before you become a writer. And I think the reason for that is you get to a plateau where you don't have to think about what you're writing. It comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And when it does come in, it feels exhilarating.
Okay.
And I think the creative process is the same for, say, a guitarist. I'll watch Don, do a lead guitar or instrumental, and I can see that he's not thinking about it. It's coming in from somewhere beyond him. And,
Interesting.
you watch Eric Clapton play a guitar, and it's the same thing. And
A true gift for both of
it's a
us.
gift. And thinking about the creative process, I wrote a essay one time that was published in a Chicago magazine. It was called Reverse Prayers, where a poem is something that, or a prayer is something that emanates from the individual out into the great beyond.
Sure.
Where a poem is a reverse prayer. It comes from the great beyond into the poet.
Yeah.
And the poet just has to be attuned enough to write it down.
Okay.
And after I wrote that essay, I was reading a biography of Emily Dickinson. And in the biography, it said that she called poems bulletins from immortality.
Wow.
And it knocked me off my chair because I thought, well, that's exactly a reverse prayer.
Bulletins
From
from
immortality.
immortality. Okay.
So she had the same experience through the process. And,
Can you explain that phrase a little bit more?
well, a bulletin from immortality is something that emanates from the great beyond,
Yeah.
bulletin coming back to the poet,
Okay.
and then she writes it down. It might sound simplistic, but
But it struck you as
it's like a reverse prayer is what
well,
I was
and-
calling the process.
and connected to your talent and your output. Yeah. Okay.
Then I read about the poet Yeats, who he went so far as to call writing poetry dictation, that he just sees it in his mind and writes it down. The California poet Jack Spicer, he calls it poets are radio receivers. where the poem emanates from somewhere beyond. And I think it's not unique to poetry, the creative process. I was reading a letter that Mozart wrote his uncle. And the uncle in the first letter said, how do you think of, you're so prolific, how do you think of all these great symphonies and arias? And Mozart said, it's really not that hard. I just see it in my mind and write it on the paper.
Yeah, yeah.
So all these artists, from Don to Eric Clapton to Yeats to Emily Dickinson to Mozart, they're all speaking of a similar process of creativity where it's emanating from beyond the individual. So whether that's immortality or your subconscious or your unconscious, many writers will talk about the muse, that when the muse is active, she's giving him or her the writing.
You know other poets, obviously,
Sure.
local and regional and international. Do you find that they agree with you on a lot of these poets?
I do.
Yeah.
I do, because
Interesting.
once you write enough, or
Yeah.
like with the musician, once you do 100 million notes, you recognize that plateau of creativity where it just flows in. I can watch Don. It's just Don. He starts on, okay, we're going to write a song now. He just starts fooling around with his guitar, and within a half hour, stuff's coming in.
So you've never had a situation where someone was going to pay you to write a poem. In other words, you were coerced to write, in a sense.
Well,
It's all coming from you as a creative output.
that's probably the worst, is when you're paid to do
Yeah,
something,
yeah.
because then you have to force it.
Yeah.
I did total up my earnings from poetry in those 40 years, and
Yeah.
it comes to about $8,500. So I would have been a starving poet had
Yeah,
I tried to earn a living off of poetry.
Well, it's no different in the musician's field either.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Don, let's get we were talking about you bringing in the music of the lyrics of Ward, but also you play with the band Street Legal and other bands that you've played with,
Yes.
and you do covers.
Yes.
So we're going to beg you for a cover version of something. Now, this is not necessarily this is not a Ward song. This would be something that Dylan or someone else wrote.
Well, that's kind of ironic that you would say that, because the number that I was thinking of was actually written by Dylan, I believe.
Okay, we're covered on the copyrights and all that. Yeah, if that's your worry, we're fine there. So, what do you got in mind?
Well, this number here is still pretty popular. It was re-recorded several different times, and the latest one, I believe, was by Mr. Darius Rucker. It's called Wagon Wheel. Heading down south, land of the pines, thumbing my way out of North Carolina. Steering up the road, raining at icy headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers. I'm a hoping boy Riley, see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like the wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, in the way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Heading up New England, up to the coast. Caught a trucker out of Philly, had a nice long tow.
but he's headed west from the Cumberland Gap to Johnson City, Tennessee. And I gotta move on, beat for the sun. And my baby calling mine, and I know that she's the only one. If I die right, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, like the wagon wheel. Rock me, mama, in the way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama, like the wind and rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, yeah, hey, hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, rock me.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that song. Wagon Wheel?
Wagon Wheel.
Okay.
It's pretty big on the radio right at the moment. It's starting to fade out a little bit, but
I guess I
it's
missed.
the #1 slot, I believe.
Okay. The neighbor's got a big old Harley going.
I
If you
wondered what
hear
that
some
was.
rumbling out there, that's what
Afraid
it
of the
is.
big boiler.
Yeah. It's he doesn't have the muffler on there. Now, Don, let's go over again, guys, the various Facebook sites and websites that interested listeners could continue once the show's over. Could continue visiting your music, your poetry, etc., etc. So why don't you start, Ward?
Okay, well, if you're interested in the poetry, you can go to wardkelly.org. And
that's Kelley,
EY,
wardkelly.org.
org. And the poetry will come up, and there'll also be a tab for Don. All
okay.
his songs are there.
Oh,
And
good.
there's
Okay.
another tab for Jessie Doyle. And some of the songs that she's done from my poetry are also on that website.
Oh, great.
I
Okay.
think the easiest way to download Don's album for free is to go to jamendo.com.
Okay. Give me a spelling on that if you know it.
That's Jamendo.
Jamendo, JAMENDO.com.
Right. And just do a search on Don Whitaker, and the Gnarled Bones album will come up.
Oh,
And you
okay.
can download it for free.
Wow, great.
Other than that, Don has donwhitaker.com. He has his own Facebook page. And like I say, if you Google Don Whitaker Gnarled Bones, 5 or 6 different sites will come up.
Now, do you, Ward, do you have a Facebook?
Well,
Probably.
I'm not sure if I do or not. I
Okay.
have to talk to my webmaster about that.
Well, now the songs on the album, let's see, we start off with track 1 is Gnarled Bones.
Mm-hmm.
Then the song that we opened the program with, Jesus the Buddha.
And the Buddha. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the Buddha. Okay. And then we've got Variations on Emily, based on the Emily Dickinson reference you had.
Mm-hmm.
A song that we heard that Don sang a little bit ago called I Need the Beauty of You.
Mm-hmm.
Then a song that we're going to end the hour with, it's called Death Days Not Come Humble. And or Death Does Not Come Humble.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Temple in the Path of Xerxes. Mind to Get Free. The penultimate cut is Canterbury Meditations, and then GB instrument. What's the GB instrumental?
It's Gnarled Bones. It's just an instrumental of Gnarled
okay.
Bones.
Okay, and then tell us a little bit about that song, Temple in the Path of Xerxes.
Oh, well, that song was came from a poem I published probably about 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it's about the 4th century BCE, when Xerxes, the Persian emperor, invaded Greece and conquered most of Greece. And there was a wealthy landowner, and he knew that Xerxes was over the mountain, headed his way tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent his wife and his brother and his slaves to the shore to protect them. But he decided to make a stand, knowing that he was going to be wiped out come morning. And he was standing in a small temple on his property, thinking about, why does a man stay and fight when the very gods have left this place? And
do you have the poem in front of you there? I was going to say, can you read it? It doesn't take too long, does it? We've got about 2 minutes before we need to bring things to a close.
It's actually very interesting. It really is.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking that not too many songs on Xerxes these days.
Yeah, well, we actually discussed that at great
might
length.
have the only one.
You know, I would like to real quickly interject too. You know, I think doing this sort of project is very, very intriguing, because as you read these poems, you know, over and over and over, like Ward said, you know, it really starts to paint your picture.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe in the music realm, as far as the music is concerned, I think my job is to help paint that picture as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and not just any picture will do. You know, because each poem is individual in itself. So I think it's kind of imperative to paint that picture just exactly like it should be.
Sure.
You know, now what version is that? Who knows? You know, from the great beyond. You know, as Ward said. But I think it's just important that you can have that ability to help make that picture whole. You know, if you will, and help the listener and help them to be more involved, you know, in it. So
the recording, the Xerxes song "Temple" in the Path of Xerxes is about over 7 minutes long. So, well, I've already started it, and what I'd like to do is then kind of bring it up while you're reading it, but not till more towards the end of your reading. I want to thank you guys for coming in.
oh sure,
Quite
no
welcome.
problem. at all.
Don
Thanks for
Whitaker.
having us.
For us.
Don Whitaker and Ward Kelly, thank you for joining us here in the Wapahani Studios. And we're going to go out now with Ward reading the poetry, the poem of Xerxes, and then in the background you'll start hearing the song itself. Take it, Ward.
Okay. Stone frigid columns, pungent fumes, incense burning. Biting breeze penetrates the acute night outside. Pillars clammy, expressing my fear from learning. Invaders coming tomorrow for genocide. My children are safe at the coast. Their mother spirited them down. With the slaves, my brothers and most, she left my sword, but not her gown. Wind easily dispels incense and sacred smoke. I understand our gods have also left this place. Perhaps they too are at the shore, beaten and broke into human pieces of themselves and our race. Why does a man stand firm after the very gods fled far from this place? I'll always rail from the rafters, look unyielding fate in the face. Is the nature of gods to dissipate at whim? So man must stand while the gods are only smoke for the all of future generations. Brave him who does not flee, but is privy to the old joke. My children are safe at the coast. Their mother spirited them down. With the slaves, my brothers and most, she left my sword, but not her gown. I cannot imagine this place without myself. But it's better to believe in man than these cults, for any man can readily complete himself, while the gods can only cry at their results.
Or at the shore, beaten and broke into human pieces of themselves, and our race after. The very gods have fled far from this place. I'll always wear from the rafflers. Look, I'm yielding, fade in your face. Is the nature of God's too dissipate when so many must stand while the gods only smoke. For the future generations brave him, who does not flee, but is privy to the old joke. My children are safe at the ghost. Their mother's spirit in them down. With the slaves, my brothers, and no, you let the soul.
WITT, Zanesville, Indy.
But not her